I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Good evening. Welcome to Oxford Community Television News. I'm Elgin Nichols, and coming up in this week's local news, is there going to be a new ordinance to control rentals? What is being done to provide greater traffic safety for pedestrians downtown in Oxford? Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Oxford Village property owners and local citizens in numbers attended a public hearing to strongly object to a proposed regulation that would require inspections of residential rentals. As defined, the intent of the ordinance was to provide a free compulsory registration process, and by so doing, officials, police officers, and fire personnel would know the locations of all residential rental units in order so as to better protect the health, safety, and welfare of tenants. Since registration would be on the honor system, however, many believed that the ordinance would only punish those who followed the system. Some felt an inspector would surely find some violation resulting in fines. Otherwise, how could he feel good about his job? Property owner Chuck Snyder felt that the ordinance would be a discriminatory type ordinance because it was only directed towards rental property owners. He said there are lots of residential homes not up to building codes, and why not inspect residential homes for violations as well? After all was said and done, Oxford Village Council voted 4-0 against the rental ordinance. Probably a pretty good move. Dual presentations were given to Oxford Village Council and the Downtown Development Authority for proposed improvements of M24 Washington Street between East Street and North and Minnetonka Drive to the south. Jim Sharp, an engineer based in Oxford, said that the intent is to calm traffic along M24 through Oxford Village, making it safer for pedestrians and motorists. The process of development is just in its beginning phase and nothing is firm. As the plan progresses, it eventually will go before the Michigan Department of Transportation for endorsement. The concept plan calls for additional traffic signals, the installation of multiple crosswalks with colored concrete to make them more visible to motorists. There would be a left turn lanes at certain intersections to reduce the number of rear-end collisions, and the construction of raised medians dividing north and southbound M24 to slow traffic, thus giving pedestrians a safe harbor while crossing the busy state highway. Clear Lake Elementary School second graders descended on downtown Oxford to learn more about local businesses. Approximately 75 students spent the day visiting Funky Monkey Toys, Merge Studio and Gallery, and Johnston Photography, Be Different Boutique, and Soothe Your Soul, and the Max, a new fitness center. The field trip was designed to show the kids the different types of goodies that are offered and services in downtown Oxford. At Funky Monkey Toys, owner Tom Jones explained to students how for every dollar that they spend at the local small business, 73 cents stays in the community, and shopping local helps provide jobs for local moms and dads. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. It's not just some motto or slogan. It's a sincere promise that Oxford always takes care of its own. On Wednesday, November 13th, a fundraiser will be held at Buffalo Wings Wild Wings at 770 North Lapeer Road in Orion Township. The benefit will go to honor the memory of William Kochis, who was a 2002 Oxford High School graduate. Billy, as he was known, was tragically killed in an auto accident September 10th of this year. Money for the benefit will go to help his widow, Shannon Gerby, who is also a 2004 Oxford High School graduate. Both Billy and Shannon were active in Oxford school sports and as well as other activities. Friends and family would like to use the proceeds towards a college fund for their 4 small children. If you would like to help this family with donations, please call 248-969-5100. Go to extension 4180. The number again is 248-969-5100, extension 4180. Hunter Hughes, a second grader at Daniel Axford Elementary, is a 7-year-old whose name will appear in the November issue of the National Highlights Children magazine. In a section called What Are You Thankful For?, Hunter's name will be read in classrooms, in schools, and libraries across the nation. Pediatrician rooms will find the article as well. When asked what he wrote about, the 7-year-old said he wrote that he likes fruit and loves eating it, especially watermelon. When he grows up, he wants to be a spy because he said he likes being secret and all that kind of stuff. Interesting young man. Friends of the Addison Township Public Library held its annual Flavored Fest on October 24th at Addison Oaks. About 110 people attended the event, which netted approximately $3,000. All of the proceeds will be used to benefit the library and its patrons. Wine, food, music, and a silent auction were all part of the fun-filled evening, and I understand that the food was real yummy. You might not want to miss next year's event. That's the local Oxford news for today. If you would like to learn more about these stories and others, you can pick up the latest copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper from your local store. Coming up next on OCTV, more news, first with Dave Kenny and then Monique Maxim. Right after their reports, I'll be back with your weekly calendar of events. This is Oxford Community Television News. I'm Elgin Nichols. Until next time, remember to always be kind to your friends and neighbors. Thanks for watching.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Chrysler Group said net income rose to $464 million in the third quarter as strong sales of pickups and SUVs offset delays in launching the 2014 Jeep Cherokee. The third quarter profit was up 22% from the $381 million profit it posted during the same quarter of 2012. It was Chrysler's 9th consecutive quarterly profit. The automaker's U.S. sales rose 8% to 603,000 vehicles in the quarter compared to an industry average of only 12%. Third quarter revenue grew 13.5% to $17.6 billion. Revenue for the third quarter of 2012 was $15.5 billion. And over at GM, General Motors continued to trim its losses in Europe in the third quarter and posted stout earnings in North America as strong production of trucks and SUVs continued. GM's net income fell 53% from a year earlier to $698 million, hurt by one-time expenses including $800 million related to the repurchase of 120 million preferred shares from the UAW's healthcare trust during the quarter. Earnings before interest and taxes and excluding those non-recurring items, the figure that GM considers the best measure of its results, rose 15% to $2.6 billion. Rising production of trucks, which are high-margin products, and better pricing of both North and South America helped the bottom line, GM said. Revenue rose 4% to $38.9 billion. The overall result marks GM's 15th straight quarterly profit since the company emerged from its 2009 bankruptcy. It has racked up more than $20 billion in profits since then. And at Honda Motor Company's second quarter net profit rose 46% after strong car sales in its biggest market, the United States. The automaker said its July through September net profit totaled 120.4 billion yen, and that's about $1.23 billion, compared with 82.2 billion yen a year ago. For the financial year ending in March 2014, Honda stuck to its forecast of 580 billion yen in the net profit. Honda, the fifth biggest car maker in the United States, sold 413,400 vehicles in that market in July-September, up 13% from a year ago. Sales were boosted by the Civic Compact, the best-selling small car this year, whose deliveries rose 9%, and the Accord sedan, which increased 14% this year. And at Ford, economy rules. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has certified the 2014 Ford Fiesta equipped with Ford's 1-liter, 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine at 45 miles per gallon on the highway, the highest miles per gallon for a non-hybrid gasoline car. The EPA rated the 2014 Fiesta SE with manual EcoBoost package at 32 miles per gallon city, 45 miles per gallon highway, and 37 miles per gallon combined. The SE, which will be sold only with a 5-speed manual transmission, arrives in dealerships later this year. The mile per gallon rating applies to both 4- and 5-door versions of the Fiesta. Prices for the Fiesta 1-liter start at $16,740, including shipping. Ford will continue to offer the Fiesta SFE, that stands for Super Fuel Economy version, even though its EPA rating of 30 city, 41 highway, and 34 combined is lower than the 1-liter EcoBoost Fiesta. The 1-liter EcoBoost was developed in Europe, where it is sold in 5 nameplates, Ford said. The pint-side engine accounts for 32% of Ford Focus sales and 26% of Fiesta sales in Europe this year. And at Consumer Reports, we're all interested in that one, Japanese brands continue to dominate the Consumer Reports annual auto reliability rankings, while some European brands gained and Ford Motor Company continue to rank near the bottom of the industry. Lexus, Toyota, and Acura swept the top 3 spots in the 2013 rankings, and Japanese brands took 7 of the top 10 places. But Germany's Audi took 4th, Volvo jumped 13 places to number 7, and GMC finished 9th, according to Jake Fisher, Director of Auto Testing for the magazine. Ford Motor Company was rated 63% below industry average in the survey, with Ford brand number 26 and Lincoln number 27, better than only BMW's Mini brand of the 28 rated. A year earlier, the Ford brand fell to 27th out of the 28 brands rated, and Lincoln dropped to 26th. The magazine said complaints about Ford's electronic control system, My Ford Touch, were the main reason for the continued low results, although it said a significant number of respondents also reported problems with the Ford EcoBoost engine. New models replaced older reliable ones, Fisher said, of Ford's product line. These are vehicles with no carryover engines, transmissions, or platforms, and this is causing many problems. Ford said it is working on those problems. Detroit 3 results were mixed, Consumer Reports said. General Motors, GMC, and Buick had above average reliability overall, while Chevrolet was just below average and Cadillac finished number 25. Chrysler Group overall finished with a reliability 18% below average, the magazine said. And on the recall front, BMW is recalling about 176,000 of its 4-cylinder gasoline-powered engines from the 2012 to 2014 model years because of potential problems with the power brakes, the company said. The vehicles, because of insufficient lubrication to a vacuum pump, can lose the power assistance in braking. The driver can still stop the car in the event of a power loss, but it will take more force on the brake pedal, a BMW US spokesman said. Models involved in the recall all have turbocharged 4-cylinder, 2-liter gasoline engines. There's a whole swath of models involved, the 320i, the 328i, the 320i with xDrive. Same applies to the 528i and their variants in xDrive. Going on, BMW said 76,191 of the vehicles are in the United States, 9,376 in Canada, and 2,738 in Mexico, and the rest are in other countries. BMW will notify U.S. customers in November, and when a repair is expected to be ready in December, it will tell owners to bring their vehicles into the dealerships. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
Take my hand and start a brand new day.
Underneath everything we are all people. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, it's a mold breaker. Well, researchers have discovered the first fungus that behaves like a farmer. We already know that soil fungi can help bacteria travel quickly from A to B. The fungal filaments provide favorable conditions for the bacteria and so act as highways through the soil. But those highways may impose a toll. To find out more, P.R. Hunier at the University of Neuchâtel in Switzerland and her colleagues studied the soil fungus Morchella crassipus and its relationship with Pseudomonas putida bacteria. To track the flow of nutrients, she labeled a fungus with carbon-13 in one experimental setup and labeled a bacteria with the isotope in a second. After 5 days, the bacteria had gained nutrients from the fungus. But between day 5 and day 9, the bacteria numbers began to drop and the nutrients flowed from bacteria into the fungus. At the same time, the fungus began growing hard, nutrient-rich nodules called sclerotia, which it uses as a food store during unfavorable times when nutrients are unavailable. Hunier thinks the fungus first cultivates the bacteria by feeding them and then harvests them. The fungus may actually eat the bacteria, though it's not clear how. We think digestive enzymes are involved, she says. The interaction between the fungi and bacteria certainly deserves further study, says Dur Annen of the Wageningen University and Research Center in the Netherlands. However, he is not convinced that the interaction qualifies as farming. It is unclear whether the documented carbon transfer from bacteria to fungus makes a nutritional difference for the fungus, says Ulrich Müller at the University of Texas at Austin. However, Debbie Brock at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, is more receptive. In 2011, she documented the only other proposed example of farming outside the animal kingdom in which the social bacteria Dictyostelium discodium cultivates and harvests bacteria. Microbes are still a largely unexplored frontier, she says. I am sure there are many, many amazing relationships among microbes waiting to be discovered and investigated. And back in the real world, on computers that is, do you know who's tracking your movements online? A plugin for the Firefox web browser called Lightbeam creates an at-a-glance visualization showing which third parties want to grab your data. Every time you access a website, numerous companies, website analytics firms, online advertisers, or social media buttons upload cookies to your computer to log which sites you visit and what you do once you're there. Lightbeam is designed to show users exactly what is going on behind the scenes. When you log on to a site, it records every website that your computer is connecting with, often more than just the one you intended to visit. It then creates visualizations ranging from a clock-like design to a list displaying the information. Many people don't understand all the ways the web works, or all the pieces of the web or interactions that aren't immediately visible, says Alex Fowler, Global Privacy and Public Policy Leader at Mozilla, the firm that makes Firefox. Lightbeam helps us educate users by shining a light on what we couldn't otherwise see. Yikes. And in India, it's the Mount Everest of the solar system, conquered only by an elite group. Now, India is set to join the US, Russia, and Europe in the exclusive club by sending a probe to Mars, with the launch expected on November 5th. Established in the 1960s, India's space program has so far focused on aiding the country's development, building satellites to spot potential sources of groundwater and monitor deforestation. Then, in 2008, it launched Chandrayaan-1, a lunar orbiter, and now has plans for further probes to study the moon and space weather. These projects may seem divorced from India's developmental goals, but could lead to spin-off applications in areas like remote sensing and shape a new generation of scientists and engineers, says K.R. Siddhara Murthy, who worked on the Indian Space Research Organization for nearly 40 years. The main goal of the $73 million Mars Orbiter mission, otherwise known as MOM, is to prove that India can put a working probe into Mars orbit. That is no small feat. More than half of all Mars missions so far have failed. It's a stretch goal, says Scott Pace, director of the Space Policy Institute at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. One big challenge will be making sure the spacecraft's electronics function reliably in the harsh temperature and radiation conditions at Mars, he says. That was a problem with Chandrayaan-1, which discovered water on the lunar surface but died more than a year early because its electronics could not withstand the heat radiated from the moon. MOM should also help unravel some of the planet's mysteries. It will carry 5 scientific instruments, including a methane sensor to try to pick up gas in Mars' atmosphere. On Earth, methane is mainly produced by life, so there was a stir when Earth-based instruments and a European probe detected traces of it on Mars' atmosphere a decade ago. Some are skeptical of those results, believing they are triggered by methane in Earth's atmosphere or perhaps water in Mars, and recently NASA's Curiosity rover added to the skepticism by finding no methane when it breathed in Martian air. I'd say the data are equivocal at this moment, he says John Mustard of Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. MOM may also reveal how Mars became a cold, dry planet with an atmosphere too thin to support liquid water for a long period of time. Gaping canyons and river-like channels point to large amounts of water and therefore a thick, warming atmosphere in the past. A study published this week suggests a form of natural geoengineering was partially responsible for the red planet's global cooling. Well, good luck to India. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're 25. What did that just do? Select the drop-down menu again. It looks like you're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payments. There it is. Oh my God! I really can't believe it. That's awesome. Good for you.
Welcome to another segment of the news we call your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity special fundraisers and general community information. Now, if you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, Contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658 or go to our website, occtv.org. Edison Township is seeking volunteers for Meals on Wheels drivers. If you're our senior and you have a 1 hour to spare a week or maybe every 2 weeks, you can make sure that no senior citizen goes hungry. Won't you please help? For more information, call 248-628-3388. Students, do you need money for college? Did you know that Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, gives out over $2 million in college scholarships every year to 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students through their Voice of Democracy Scholarship Contest? All you need to do is write a 3-minute to 5-minute audio essay on a patriotic theme. And this year's theme is why I'm optimistic about the nation's future. The top national prize is a $30,000 scholarship. Wow. And a trip to Washington, D.C. To get more information, go to the VFW website at vfw.org. The student's entry deadline is November 1st, 2013. So don't wait. Get started now, and good luck. A local teacher could be the VFW Veterans of Foreign Wars Teacher Award winner for 2013-14. If you are a teacher, student, supervisor, or interested individual, you can enter your favorite K-5, 6th, 8th, and 9th through 12th teacher into the 15th Annual Citizenship Education Teacher Award Contest sponsored by Post 334 VFW Ladies Auxiliary. The winner will receive a $1,000 for their school. Deadline date for the contest is November 1st, 2013. For more information, you can call 248-693-6759. Thursday, November 7th, are you stressed? Are you anxious and sometimes out of control? I know a few people like that. The Oxford Public Library, Pontiac Street in Oxford, would like you to learn how to relax. Starting at 5:30 in the Oxford Rotary Room, John Carolyn will teach you methods to improve your focus and will help you in your relaxation techniques. For additional information, call 248-628-3034. Sounds like a good one. Saturday, November 9th, sponsored by Meyer of Oxford and Oxford Parks and Recreation, will host the annual Turkey Trot, 5K run and 2K walk. Registration begins at 9 a.m. at Seymour Lake Township Park, but you can also register by going to their website at oxparkrec.org. Both the run and the walk begins at 10 a.m. Tell your friends, your grandparents, parents, and toddlers, put them in strollers and bring them along. For more information, call 248-628-1720. See you there. That's November 9th. Now, I would like to say that Saturday, November 9th at 2 to 3 p.m., if you're a young person who would like to try your hand at acting, playing interactive games, and be prepared for the unexpected, then you won't want to miss this program at the Oxford Public Library. Call 248-628-3034 for more information. We at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming event or charity. So if you would like to get more information or be mentioned on our TV show, call us at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website, occtv.org. A final reminder, check out our OCTV viewing schedule for my good friend Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television.